Hey, howdy ho, Lions fans. Welcome to the Detroit Lions podcast, episode 543. Another post-game victory show. I told you that's how it works. It was never in doubt. You should have seen what was going on, folks. There was all kinds of consternation in Lions Nation. And I knew Ash and I were getting together. We're doing a post-game show. There's nothing to worry about. Speaking of Ash, he's my good friend and co-host right here today. Ash, how you doing, my man?
Awesome. Lions win. All that matters.
We knew it, right? Why is everybody like, man. I gotta
Sometimes you don't win right.
We'll talk about it because I think there's something, if people are going to equate this game to every other game we've played, and there's something different about this game that I think we need to address for folks so that they get a better understanding of what they're looking at, because there's still panic in Lions Nation, and I think we can do something about this. So we're going to talk about today's game. We're going to cover Coach Campbell's post-game presser. We're going to do a roundtable discussion, and I'm going to get the fuck out and hit the airport because I got a flight after all that. Ash, we got a lot going on. You ready to go, my man?
Let's do the thing that we do.
Let's kick this off and break it down.
All right. There it is. Big victory. Told you they would win. I'm not sure why people get so nervous about it, but when we do a post-game show, the Detroit Lions win. That is the story of 2024. I have late flights today just so we could get this win because I knew it was important. So that's good. Here's where we are. If it was the Bills game, I probably would have gone. It's convenient. I'm not going to get my hotel room till like 2 a.m. You know what I mean? Because of this. And I want you guys to appreciate the sacrifices that I make for you.
It's a hard knock life.
Okay, that's a bunch of bullshit. All right, so let's talk about it. I think the one thing, and I want to characterize this game with this kind of phrase here, or this sentence, and I think it puts a lot of perspective around what we saw. This was a game between two very good teams. We were watching big boy put on your pants football between two really good teams with, at best, mediocre officiating. To play like this against a team of the caliber of the Minnesota Vikings, as much as I hate to say it, as much as I like to shit on them, they're a really good team. And they've shown it in the standings this year. And we came out on top at their house. That's the thing that everybody needs to start with. We didn't have a game like this against Carolina, right? This was big boy football. This was real football. Remember when the storyline was, well, but how many teams over 500 you beat? Well, we beat a team that was 1,000. That's the story of this game. There is no panic in Lions land. They were able to pull this together and do it. This bodes well for this team for the season and the playoffs going forward. And I will put that knife in that stone and die on it, Ash.
Oh, 100%. Like, this was the second game this season where Sam Darnold has not thrown multiple touchdowns. That's the kind of offense we've been looking at so far. And, it kind of bodes well for the long-term future that the other one was last week. So in the last 2 weeks, he's thrown 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions. But if it wasn't for last week's game, this would have been Sam Darnold's worst game by far, honestly. Last week was really, really bad. But they still won. Like, last week, he completed 45% of his balls, no touchdowns and a pick, and they still won that game. So, that's the kind of overall team that you're dealing with from these guys coming in. Like, this was never going to be easy. This was a 5-0 team that was at the top of the division at home. That's pretty rough. And we saw that at the beginning of the game. Like, that first quarter was a little rough watching a specific offensive lineman. I don't really want to call it too badly because, he's not supposed to be there. The game was a little big for him at the beginning today, but they figured it out. They got their legs underneath them, and they did what they do. They just kept saying 1,000 times because they didn't really have any talking points on the broadcast today that it was 4 straight drives with a touchdown in the middle of the game there. And, that's against a Brian Flores defense, that is as good as you are going to get at any point.
Just on that point, Greg Olsen wasn't that great today. I generally usually like him, but I was kind of disappointed.
Yeah, me too.
In his work today. I want to say really quick, Steve G. No, not Steve G. Sorry, Brian J. It felt like the same old Lions early in the game. Scary reminder of it, but it overcame it. And this is how many times we saw it in the Slack. I saw it in some text messages. I'm not going to say that I didn't completely understand. I saw it on Twitter. So many people in the first 5 minutes of the game were throwing back to the Ravens game last year. Oh no, it's the Ravens game. It's going to be a get right. That's like they were already writing it off. No. Yeah. I don't think this team has a Ravens game in them anymore. I don't think they have a get right game. It's not impossible, but this team is all sack. They will not stop. They will not give up, and they showed it. They came back and they played real hard. I think that again, yeah, Hattori, our samurai sword salesman, says it. SOL is dead and buried.
Yeah, like that's even if they lost this game, that's not SOL at all in any way, shape, or form. That's losing a 2-point game to a undefeated team at home is not with is that's I don't know what people are defining same old Lions as, but I kind of define it as losing 35-10. That's and basically looking real good for maybe one quarter of the game and then just not showing up for the other three in whatever order that comes. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
that's same old Lions, and this team doesn't, like you said, have that in them. Like even that Ravens game last year, like that was over 3 drives in. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
it was just a slow start for the Lions, and the defense could stop nothing that the Ravens were doing. And it just it got out of control immediately and was a road game. Like you're not coming back from that. Let's just say, like that's watching everybody party at your own funeral, basically, but like not in a good way. Like they're dancing on the coffin, not with the coffin. You know what I mean? I wouldn't go so far as to say that it's impossible. Because I think we saw today that this defense does have some issues in terms of getting pressure. Like if anyone was thinking we weren't going to miss Hutch, which I don't think anybody anywhere has ever said anything even remotely close to that, because it was so glaringly obviously going to be a problem. But we were all right. Earth,
let me
Earth
just
as a whole,
really quick, and I'm not
right.
I don't want to diminish the loss of Hutch by any stretch of the imagination at all.
Yep.
But those are 2 Pro Bowl caliber tackles that we were playing against. Hutch would have had his work cut out for him today. Not saying he wouldn't have done better or anything else, but those are 2 top tier tackles that they have on those Minnesota Vikings. So we played a really good team who was good matchup wise against this Lions team. This was a knockdown, drag out. We're going to put our best against your best kind of setup. And boy, it played out that way. It was back and forth, and it came down to the very, very end. Pat D, super chat, thank you. How's everyone's blood pressure? Love this team. Yeah, I can feel it. I'm feeling it. We got Loretto also. James Houston did have that little finesse that flushed Donald into Josh Paschal for that sack, but nothing else. Yeah, he came, he helped. All right, that's what we got from him. Thank you, Loretto, for that super chat. We got another one here from Tampa, Detroit Lion, and Chris and Ash with the best Lions coverage. Bates with the dagger. Lions, love it. Thank you, super much there for the super chat. Tampa, Detroit Lion, love you, brother. I'm stoked, bro. I'm so stoked. This was such a good game. Like I wanted to do a podcast this week. Riz couldn't do it. This coming week, I can't do one. But I had a couple of things I thought of putting a video together. Work was crazy, whatever. But this is a good football team. And like, there's some games we watched, the Thursday night game, for example. There's a lot of games on TV that you can watch right now of other teams that are reminiscent of what it was to watch the Lions before. If you folks remember, you would watch the Lions play and be like, oh, God, ooh, all those, God. And then you'd see like Kansas City play New England back in the day, right? And be like, wow, that's what good football looks like. That's what good teams look like. Folks, that's what we're seeing on the field when the Detroit Lions play. That's what we saw. We saw basically a KC and Patriots matchup from the old days today between Minnesota and Detroit. It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, like as far as the defense goes, I mean, they held Jefferson to 81 yards, and I think that's the worst game he's had against the Lions in the last 3 years. Just only one touchdown and only 80 yards. That's who that guy is, But like their wide receiver too, Jordan Addison, 66. That's not his best game either. He only had 3 catches. Just one of them was kind of a bomb. You don't like seeing Aaron Jones go for over 6.5 carry. Like that's I will say I'm a little more concerned about that than I am about the lack of pass rush pressure, not because not because it matters more, but because I wasn't really expecting it. But I mean also like the Lions did get 4 sacks today. That's right on par with what they've been doing pretty much all year. They just did it in kind of a different way. It was Malcolm Rodriguez. It was Jack Campbell. It was Brian Branch. Like that's not Brian Branch. Sorry, Trevor Nowinski. So like linebackers. I mean that's 3 off-ball backers basically getting the job done. So you can't tell me Aaron Glenn did not step up and do what he needed to do, although there were periods of the game where I think like he could have stood there for half an hour and then no one was getting anywhere near him on certain plays, but good teams play well. That's how this goes, like we're tied and have the 1 versus 1 tiebreaker at the top of the division. That's exactly where you want to be after 6 games. In what is turning out to be the best division in football. The Lions are in the driver's seat, and there's not a whole lot of room for complaining on that because, like, other teams lose guys and still win games too, right? So you got to do that.
Folks, if you're listening to this after the fact, please watch the YouTube replay. There's a dude named Ghetto Pat in the chat that's absolutely embarrassing himself. He's having a break. It's so funny. We cheated to win is one of his main arguments right now.
Oh, nice.
Oh, this guy, like,
up here.
This is one of those people that's a little bit too bought in. Like, by the end of the season, when the Vikings have their inevitable meltdown, like they do year after year after year, this guy's heart has been broken so many times. Like, he has, like, this might be the one. This might be the one.
I haven't scrolled up far enough. Did he say why he thinks the Vikings got robbed, or did he just come in and say Vikings got robbed 17 times like some kind of moron?
They got cheated badly. Karma coming for the Lions is his most recent. Oh God, this is my favorite part. Okay, so yeah, it's worth it. It's worth it to go and have some fun with that, folks. Do that and enjoy. He's off into La La Land now. This is fantastic. This is exactly what you want from a divisional rivalry, a hard fought game, a huge win. Brian Branch out there, my God. I look at that guy and I think he's almost like my son's age, right? And I look at him and like he's such a lovable dude. Just 100%, like such a good kid, got screwed at the draft. Fell into our pockets, thankfully, out to prove something, and not with his wild swag or crazy. He's just out there fucking taking names, laying fucking hits. Oh, 6 back. Okay, no problem. Like all day long, Brian Branch is all over that field, just wrecking, just absolutely wrecking. I love this kid. He is absolutely fantastic. I think he's one of my favorites. Yeah. I think he's one of my faves.
Hard not to. Like, even if one touchdown had counted, then maybe people wouldn't be so unhappy.
Oh boy, that's one of those best illustrations of it's a game of inches, right? That was basically a 14-point swing based on about 2 inches, which is all the Ghetto Pat has, which is part of why he's so angry. Like, at what exact second does that guy's heel touch the ground? That's what swings that play. Like it's insane how close that was to just being game over versus the other team's back in it. Like it just crazy, man, crazy. Yeah. We've got one here. I love doing this just because I love him so
Yeah.
much. Loretto, thank you for the super chat. Another one. Jeff Risden, who shall not be named, had this as a loss. Sometimes I question his ball knowing skills. Here you go, Riz. Little bit of love, buddy. Little bit of love. It's all love. Woo! All right. We're watching.
Yeah.
We're waiting for Coach Campbell to come on for the post-game presser. We'll do that, and then we'll start taking calls, and then Jared Goff will pop up, I'm sure, for another presser, and then we'll interrupt whoever the caller is, and we'll have him on as well. Yes.
Interesting stat from Lions PR. Jared Goff, 3 straight games with a passer rating over 140. Fourth player in NFL history to do it. The other 3 are Aaron Rodgers in 2011, Kurt Warner in 1999, and Roger Staubach, 1971.
I will beat your ass.
So,
That's right.
100%. That's that is crazy, man. Like, so many people, even right now, there are so many people that look at Jared Goff and see like some guy who isn't very good. And I don't understand it at all. You see so many of the lazy garbage national analysts who are working off of their take from 5 years ago when, like, can you believe an alleged offensive genius had this guy doing like play action rollout athlete offensive BS at any point in his career? It just doesn't make any sense to take your guy who can't run and make him run that much before he throws.
Which is absolutely why you would want to trade for Stafford, so you can start doing that, right?
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, you watch Rams games, they do have him doing naked bootlegs at 38 million years old, and it just like, use what you got, dude. Nobody's perfect.
Yeah.
What is what it is, right?
Hold up, we got. Oh my gosh, they're putting a little bit of change up in here. They got Jared Goff up there first. Let me get Goff on the podium here. Do a little zippity save and get this queued up. Sorry, we're gonna, we're producing over here. I want to make sure you get the whole thing. All right, here we go. We're coming up with some Jared Goff on the podium. Here we go.
Yeah, they're having fun. We're all having fun. Yeah. Did I do it again? Yeah. Yeah. See, the word perfect's hard. Like, it's perfect completion percentage, but like, there's still decisions that like you can change. I felt like I thought I had a chance at it again. Like, I felt like halfway through the third, I couldn't think of one, and then, of course, right after that, ball gets batted down. But beside the point, we're getting guys open. We're protecting well and hitting them in stride, and it's just one play after another, trying to focus on each play, one play at a time.
What was said in the huddle there, right, to begin that drive and the confidence level that you guys had to go down there and put Jack in the gate?
Yeah, to be honest, not much. We kind of ended up getting the ball right back where we would have been twice, really. We had the fumble, and then the defense gets the ball back in the punt. We kind of had 3 chances from the 30. And so, yeah, it hadn't had taken much time off the clock by then. It was kind of the same situation, and not much was said. We knew the whole week was about composure. Dan kept preaching that for us, and I thought the guys did a great job today keeping it.
How much did that composure come into play? Jared early in the game,
Yeah.
down 10, a lot of self-inflicted penalties, mistakes like that.
Yeah, early in that game, they came after us. They really did, and they did a good job. That's what they do. We knew that coming into games. They start off hot. They come out with their hair on fire and kind of punched us in the teeth a little bit there early, and we had to respond, and that's what we do. It's what we're built for, is responding, and once we were able to put a few drives together and score a few touchdowns, felt like we had them in a good place.
Just one other thing on the passing numbers, especially early in games, you put 3 lights out. Is there something about your mindset early, play calling, anything that's really getting you guys out?
There's really not. I wish there was a better answer for you. There's really not. These guys were giving us a lot of check down opportunities. They really were. The amount of depth they get, and they try to steal these in cuts, their safeties with their linebackers. We got 2 running backs that you get them the ball in space, you find someone better than those 2 guys. So I'm very cognizant of that when these guys get depth, to just keep feeding those guys underneath until they give me the chance to throw it over their head, and just being disciplined. That's really what it is, discipline.
Yeah, he just doesn't know the ball at all.
Like this, dear perfect. With Minnesota, with their blitzing and everything else, how unique was this? How much more difficult was it to be accurate?
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. I'd like to think I'm pretty dang accurate outside of wherever I'm playing, but these guys are a good defense, man. They really are. I got a lot of respect for them and what they do on defense, and I thought we had a great plan and executed it pretty well. Yeah. Yeah, it was awesome. Good to see him do that. We had all the faith in the world in him, obviously, and we got so dang close down there. He's pretty automatic. So it's good to see a guy, a new guy like that, be able to make his mark in a road division game. It's loud, it's hectic, and he put it right down the middle and had some fun with it.
Jameer was excellent today.
Who?
Jameer.
Yeah, he was. He really was, and I know, it's been David, and then it was just a matter of time for him to have his moment, and today it was that, and he was locked in, he really was, you could see it in his eyes, and that one run he had was pretty special, where he made the safety miss, and that's what he can do. We're fortunate to have two guys like that, and today was his day, and he certainly carried us in a lot of ways.
What about a couple more guys like Khalif and Tim, too?
No doubt. Yep, yeah, Khalif had that drive. I mean, we hit him 3 times, I think, on that drive, and he's just steady Eddie. He really is, and Tim's fit in like a glove with us. He really has, and given us that size that we hadn't had before, and it's been a lot of fun working with those guys. Obviously, Tim's new, but Khalif, we know what he's been for a long time.
Just to build off Bob's question earlier, the quick pressure scheme.
Yeah.
Your offensive line did, especially after those first 2 series.
Yeah.
Maybe you can speak on that, and then B, I don't know if you get much of a chance to watch what the Nate is doing in real time. You can just see the blocks.
I don't. I don't. I see it on the film after. The dude's special and all-pro tackle for a reason. But yeah, those guys really settled in, and it was really our whole offense. But you got to give them a lot of credit with what they're doing up front. Frank identifying it, our running backs protecting all day, giving me enough time to get the ball out. It's really a full team effort, and those 5 guys up front. I think Coyote stepping in, on late notice in the week with Kev and playing well. It's tough, and having all 5 of those guys play the way they did, it certainly gives us a good chance to win every week.
You said Dan last 2 Bob and composure this week.
Yep.
Is that part of you guys recognize if there can be a big showdown early in the season, what this was against the rival first place?
Yeah.
Is that part of it?
I think we just know who they. Well, we don't know. We think we know who they are from what they've shown on film, and they're a hectic defense. They're a hectic operation, and I say composure mostly towards the offense. There's a lot of stuff going on. They do a lot of things. They blitz. They want to pressure you. They want to apply the pressure. And for us, it was we go down 10-0, and we're kind of getting kicked in the mouth a little bit. Stay calm, stay relaxed. We have the fumble. They score on. All right, stay calm, stay relaxed. One play at a time, and it really came in handy for us late in the game.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
All right, there we go. Yes, Ash has storm shutters up still. It's a pain in the ass to take those off the 2nd floor. Trust me. Again, I'm seeing a lot of stuff about, hey, we got to get an edge rusher. We got to get all the, somebody in here to put the, to get the 4 sacks against those 2 tackles is pretty darn good. And if that's the bottom, if that's the floor, I think you're in good shape with what you saw today. I'm not saying you're going to add bodies, but if you're standing there and you're telling Brad Holmes, you got to go get a guy, you got to go get Max Crosby, or you got to go spend some money and break the bank, he's just going to walk up and tell you.
You gotta back the fuck up out my face, goddammit. I'm from Detroit, Michigan. Don't play with me.
That's what you're going to hear, so don't go crazy and silly. You're muted, my friend. I see your mouth moving. I see you talking, but you can't come in.
Well, that's because I muted myself while the press conference was on, Chris, because I'm a professional. And
my professional friend.
What I was getting at is that if you got 4 sacks a game for an entire NFL season, you would lead the NFL every single season for basically forever.
Well.
So people are like, you think they're going to be happy with 4? If they could get 4 a game, they would be ecstatic.
Yeah,
we would all be ecstatic. That would be huge if they could figure out how to do what they just did in every single game. Maybe, without giving up the, almost 30 points. But
that's such good context. Thank you, Ash, because I was even being pulled into this trap, right? This conversation of we need to get a guy, and it's like, no, you're right. 4 a game for a year you're putting a couple guys in the Pro Bowl at that point.
But with that said, what I would like to do is everyone who is listening to this, who prior to the end of last season was saying things like, oh, Aiden Hutchinson only gets pressures. Pressures don't matter. Those pressures are what we were missing today.
Yeah.
That is the difference. When like, this is one thing PFF is absolutely 100% right about, and if you don't agree with them, you're just wrong. Pressures matter more than sacks, because look at the game, look how that went, look at your impression of how good the pass rush was today, and that's because I guarantee when we look at the pressure percentages for this game later in the week, there is going to be just a wasteland of, we got 4 sacks and like a total of 9 pressures.
Well,
team-wide,
so Steve G,
as opposed to Hutch getting those himself.
Steve G, we did have to commit extra LBs and DBs to the rush to get those sacks, though. Would be nice to get more 4-man pressures. Yes. And getting a blowjob in every room I walk into would be nice too. But sometimes you can't have everything. And actually, this leads to another point I want to talk about. This secondary of the Detroit Lions is what made that line have the opportunity they did. I mean, there were so many coverage pressures that happened today that kept Darnold out. This is something that last year, this game would have been an absolute blowout. With last year's secondary, this game we would have just been dunked on. And this is the difference in building that back end up, and that you see when you miss on a guy like Hutch, and when you're missing a guy like Hutch.
Yeah. And we got Andrew in the chat going, so pressures matter more than sacks. Why in this specific situation are you hyping up the sack number and dismissing the low number of pressures? Listen to the words that come out of my mouth when I speak, Andrew. Don't put words in them. They're not there.
Here you go. The samurai swordsman salesman always comes through. Is there a Venn diagram showing the overlap of pressures don't matter and draft Malik Willis at 2?
Circle. Absolute circle. Like, just perfect.
Yeah. And also, actually, Arnold starting to build confidence. Dan Howard, good call. How many penalties did Terrion get today?
I didn't see any.
Really nice.
Yep.
Cam got.
It's almost like the people who've been telling you all season that he's a rookie and he'll figure it out, and that's all that is. Man, those people are super smart and probably completely right.
Yeah. Oh, let's see. We got the coach up. Let me get things going here. We've got a new way of doing this so that we don't miss any parts of this of these press conferences now. I'll throw Jacob Strand up with his Jake Big Ball Bates. Him and Campbell have a competition in whose are bigger. Bates is one of the guys that worries me the most when he's with every single kick, but he's just coming through. He's just coming through. I love it. All right, let's get Coach Campbell on here as soon as we go to the podium.
That was a good win. You know, I told the team to say that I was proud of them is a massive understatement. You know, we knew that team was they were playing good football, and they have been now for 5 weeks, coming off a bye, and we knew they were going to be ready, and it was going to come down to the wire. The team knew this. We talked about patience, man. Patience, keep your composure, communication, and then attitude. And our guys did that. We hung in there, and we didn't bat an eye. Things, you know, appear to start going a little south there at the end. Got the ball back. You know, we stopped a 2-point conversion, which was huge, and defensively, and then Goff and that O-line takes us right down the field with Gibbs and St. Brown and, man, Bates. How about that? What a kick. What a kick, man. So just a great team win, complimentary football across the board, offense, defense, special teams when we need it most, and really proud of these guys. That's a huge win on the road, tough environment, first one, and you don't want to say must win, but we needed that in a bad way.
Goddamn, you're right. On emphasis, but you know what I'm saying.
Well, I think I said it, right? I mean, I think that's when you send him out. You felt good about it, you know, and when you know, we've had 5 games with him, NFL games, and then when you see him every day in practice and you give him the crowd noise and you move the spot and I'm yelling at him and you just applying pressure, and to watch him, he just continues to make these kicks, you feel pretty good when he gets thrust into it. And it's not the same, but yet it is. We just felt like his confidence has grown, and he would just go out there and it's just the next kick, and he did that. So really proud of him, man. Really proud of him.
But Jared, today, a little bit down in performance. We reached 150 pass rating like in the last 2 weeks. But
Yeah.
140, 22, 25 today. Just every week it seems like he's just making all the right decisions, the right place to put you guys in this situation.
He's a stud. I mean, he is. And I just got asked a question about, just him and, what did you see? This goes back to what did you see when, in 21 when Brad and I acquired him? And, and then what makes him, and it's the guy's got arm talent, there's no question, but it's what he's got here and what he's got here. And that's what makes him a dangerous player. And it's what makes him really one of these guys that you can build around, because he's a winner, man. He will find a way to win. He'll find a way to put the offense in position to win the game. He doesn't get frazzled. He's tough. He's competitive, and he's just, man, he's reliable. He's reliable, and I love the guy, man. And once again, he steps up huge for us there on the road, division game.
After that rough start, you didn't have a first down until like the last play of the first quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Turned that 4 straight touchdown drive. Does it turn like that? Does somebody say something? How did that?
No, look, some of that early, that was our own doing a little bit. Now, look, they were playing well, believe me. They were playing good defense, but there's a couple of things we felt like we should have gotten some conversions. We should have gotten made some plays there that were our own errors. And especially two different series there. And so once we felt like we got them cleaned up, we just needed a conversion. And once that happened, we got to roll in there a little bit. So, and that's sometimes that's all it takes. You just get that first down, and now you're beginning to move the ball. Just confidence is going sky high. He's getting better and better. And there again, he's still kind of young and new to the safety position for us. Sometimes you forget that, but you can tell how fast he's growing in the position. And I'm telling you, the sky's the limit for him. I mean, he is the ultimate. He's the ultimate football guy. I mean, he understands how to play the game. He's instinctive. He's tough. He's smart. He's a great tackler. He's a ball guy. He's got radar. And he's one of those guys who can change the game for you. And I thought that was a touchdown. I was like, man, I don't need to be conclusive, but. Anyway, but you felt like even after that, he's gonna get another one of those. Like he's gonna find a way to make another one happen. That's just the type of guy he is, type of player.
A couple more defense at the big stops early on, and then there at the end of the game. So make their performance as a whole.
Man, they battled. Those guys fought, and look, we were very well aware of what's over there. And Jefferson is not easy to contain at all. He makes you you have to constantly think about him, and you got to roll to him, you got to shift to him, you got to double him, and don't let him run the ball either, by the way. And that's not an easy task. But I thought AG put together a damn good game plan. I thought these guys executed. They got us on a couple things. But man, I tell you what, when we needed a critical stop there at the end of the game, to get that ball back and then to finish it out after we kicked the field goal, our defense did that. Situational football, big play, man. I just thought at the end of the day, they stepped up when we needed it. I thought that secondary played pretty dang good, and because those receivers have eaten some people up, and Jefferson always does. So I thought they were competitive. I thought we challenged, and those guys stepped up.
Last two, Coleman and Dave.
Very good. Had 2 touchdowns and the block on Big Brandon's touchdown as well. How big was he for you guys today?
He was huge. Whatever it was, 160 all-purpose yards, and really came to life. And we felt like Gibby's been so close to just exploding, and we felt like this was the game. And he really came to life when we needed it most. and helped across the board. And what a smart play on that. May have been the best play, on Leafs. Well, it wasn't. His run was the best. But then the second one was that. What a smart play to just kind of shield him, Otherwise, you're going to get a penalty. Play comes back. It was really good, man. And then Leaf takes it in. So he's a weapon for us. Played really well.
Okay, that's one thing. Two things, I guess, just ended. David, he was obviously like through some things after he left. Did that contribute to the fumble ball?
No. And I would not ask him that. So, no. And, look, none of us want that to happen. Certainly he doesn't. And he's sick about it. But that's why, man, we coach it, we teach it, we work it, and he'll come back stronger than ever, And those, unfortunately, sometimes those happen. That's why you just keep making it an emphasis,
And then you mentioned AG in the defense, and obviously the job they did, but do you think you got enough pressure from your edges? Can you tell that in real time?
I need to watch the tape, to really digest that. There was a couple of times things felt a little long, like, man, we're covering for a bit, but I can't say that caught my eye, like, oh, man, so I need to watch the tape. I know we battled in there, and Mac and Levi and Reeder, Pascal, O'Connor came in a little bit, Ukwu, and so I thought by committee, those guys battled in there, and I think, really, we did what we had to do, did what we needed to do for today and for that win.
Thanks, guys. We'll have Jake Bates.
Okay.
All right, there we go. Jake Bates coming up. I think we're gonna skip the Bates interview just on a timing thing because we want to take the calls from our friends. That sound good?
I got no problem with
it. Oh, I got shat upon. A professional mutes his mic when the coach speaks. Possibly, but they also unmute their mic when he's done. So there we go. You got two of a kind on one podcast. Between the two of us, you have a professional. How's that sound? All right. Yeah, Ryan, good call. Linebackers played really, really good today. I'm gonna fire up the phones if you don't mind, Mr. Ash. 248-782-8384, 248-782-8384. Or if you're using Skype, you can use Detroit Lions Podcast. It's all one word, and you can use that to ping us. Steve-O is all about the Crosby chance and going for it, and he would take it. He would take it, though, because it's not his bacon on the line. And Steve, I'm not trying to be mean, right? It's just two people who disagree about an approach. I'm much more in the line of building a team over the long term and sustaining it and having multiple shots at the big one. And if that doesn't work, then much more than just getting a guy and hoping for one and hoping he doesn't get injured and you lose the one you got. Hey, caller, what's your name? How much have you had to drink? And how good a victory was this today?
Hey, this is Dan from Dallas, Texas. How you doing?
Hi, Dan. How you doing? Did you watch the Cowboys game last week?
I did. I was really beating myself up. I'm not going to lie. I wanted to go to it, but I didn't. Out of a little bit of scared nature from last year, I didn't want to relive the same game from last year, even though I had a lot of faith that they were gonna kick the crap out of the Cowboys last week. So
yeah, that's fair. What do you got for us, big guy? I didn't mean to sidetrack you there. I do that to people sometimes, and then they don't get to spit what they want to say.
Yeah, no problem. Hey, so I just wanted to chime in on Jared Goff's amazing game. Obviously, I think this offense is just a work of art right now. I mean, Ben Johnson has him literally clicking on all cylinders, and Goff is at an MVP status at this moment. So, I mean, it seems like those Jared Goff chants might need to retire and change to the MVP chant at this point. I mean, I've never seen a Lions offense just this smooth before. It's just like anytime that you think there's any gruff, he delivers. It's insane.
Let me just hit you with something. I'm gonna let Ash respond, but I just want to hit you with a quick quote here.
All I'm saying is we will remain true, we'll remain resilient, and the gut punches will stop.
Oh, my tummy feels good. Ash?
Yeah. If Jared Goff were to have this exact game for the rest of the season, he would undoubtedly be the MVP of the NFL. Yes. You know what I mean? He, like, 3 passes touched the ground today, 280 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Like, I don't know if they called that one a fumble where he kind of just like flung it as he was getting tackled at the end there.
It was another 360 no scope, but it just kind of only went a couple feet.
That was one of those moments in 2021 that had people going, "See, I told you he can't play football." Luckily, there's enough people around to kind of make the rest of what he was doing, like, because he was doing similar things at that time, just not having the end result be the same. You know what I mean? It kind of works that way when you're throwing to, Quintez Cephas is your number 1 wide receiver going into a year.
My God. You dredged up a name there, buddy.
Yeah, man. No quarter. That's legitimately, like, when we were looking at the stats there, it was like first half of the year when he played with Quintez Cephas, his stats were great. And second half of the year when he played with Amon-Ra St. Brown, his stats were great. And there was this 8-game gap in the middle where neither of those guys were really like starters. And, that was kind of why people were writing him off there. It's Goff's he's doing great, man. I don't know about MVP level play at this point, but he's not far off that, and I think he's a lot closer to it than anybody was giving him any chance of getting to 3 years ago.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I agree. The blossom effect of just the confidence he's grown in this offense and with Ben Johnson is just, you can see it. And obviously him getting more weapons as the years go on. It's just like he's found that groove that he was in with the Rams back when he first started his career. It's so happy to see, and it's so good of Brad Holmes to find that confidence again in him and bring it back out for the Lions there.
And I'll say I think the confidence is more now. This is real confidence. I think he felt a little impostery when he was with the Rams because his coach told him everything and told him he was wrong and he was so much in Goff's head. And this is the one where, look, Sam Darnold looks so good. He's looked as good as he has in his career because he's finally got a coach that's supporting him with a scheme that works for him, with a supporting cast that actually helps enable his abilities to work. To have what Goff had in the Rams, he was in his own head as much as the coach was in his head. Here, his confidence is real. He truly believes in himself and what he can do and what he can deliver. And with the people around him, he's just shown time and time and time again. 22 for 25 today, 280 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jared Goff, I mean, he has shown that he is the guy, and he just wasn't a throw-in. He might have been, from the Rams' perspective, he might have been a throw-in, just take his contract. But that was a mistake. That was a vital mistake on their part to make.
I agree.
All right, caller, sure. I'm going to let you go, brother, and we're going to move on. Got a lot of people hitting us up here, okay?
All right, absolutely. Thanks, guys. Go Lions.
Thank you, brother. Go Lions. Let's do this. Get another one in here. See if we can make this work. Hey, caller, what's your name? How much have you had to drink so far?
Hey, what's up, Chris and Nash? This is Caleb. I've had a couple beers, a couple bourbons, and I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Very good. You know, Caleb, I got to tell you, Full Metal Savage said in the super chat, thank you, Full Metal Savage, Next Gen Stats, Jared Goff was under pressure on a season high 51.7% of his dropbacks against the Vikings, finishing 10 of 11 for 164 yards and 2 touchdowns under pressure. Goff was averaging a league high 11.6 yards, YPA under, yards per attempt, under pressure. Do you remember when everything had to be perfect for Jared Goff, Caleb?
Oh, yeah. I was actually talking to my buddy about that back when they threw the stat up like mid-game when he was 12 of 12, and it was 9 for 9 under pressure, and he was absolutely killing it. But, I'm like, Jared Goff, like, I don't know how the league absolutely sleeps on him, like, when he continually does this. Because I'm like, I'm just like watching the stats, watching him play, and I'm like this is like super efficient football. Like this is super efficient football, and he keeps doing it. And then next week the league will compare him to like Jordan Love, who threw like 3 interceptions and 3 touchdowns, and but they're always up and down. But yeah, no, Jared Goff has absolutely been killing it. Like I couldn't be happier to call him my QB1 right now.
Damn right. Yeah, no, he's a guy. I love where we are with him. I love his story. He's one of those guys that I don't know. He's one of those guys that you can't not root for. Very much like Branch, right? He's a guy that I just am in a the most platonic way possible. I am absolutely in love with Brian Branch. I am absolutely in love with Jared Goff. These guys are exactly the kind of character people that you love for a franchise. When you talk about a game that's, families from kids to all the way up, to have character people like that play so well and that just kind of stand out from your franchise, it makes you really proud to be a fan. Where like the Cleveland Browns fans are cheering that their quarterback blew out what's an ACL or an Achilles or something today, right? I mean, there's two completely opposite ends of the spectrum, and I'm so happy to be where the Lions were. And I have to be honest, I wobbled there during the Patricia years and was like, I don't care. Just give me good players. I don't care if they've pillaged towns throughout the country. Just give me players that are going to win it for me. Woo.
No, and I think that's what makes this sustainable. Again, me and my buddy Kyle were sitting here watching the game, and I was talking to him, and I was like, when is the last time that we've been able to say, like, you watch these young players coming up, like Rodriguez is making plays, and Branch is going out there and making interceptions that are the thing of dreams. And my entire thought process is just like, when's the last time we had a Lions team that was having players that are developing in our scheme and getting better and better? And whether they're absolute superstars or just like pieces of the puzzle, like Rodriguez is like, our 4th-string linebacker. He's out there, he's making plays, and it's like, you can't help but root for the guy. And this is a level of player development that we haven't had in ever. We've never had this level of continuity with players are getting better, whether they're starters or third stringers. Every week, it just seems like our players are actually improving.
We got to see Rodrigo grow on 2 successive plays today. One on the defensive right side of the ball. Throw the ball. It was the number 3 receiver to Jefferson. He runs. He gets like 15 yards, something like that, somewhere around there. They flip the play. Same play on the other side. Rodrigo does not get fooled and tackles him for like a 1-yard loss. Instantly, he's like, I ain't buying that bullshit a second time. And he came in and he put meat on and maybe in Jefferson on that play. It was beautiful. Absolutely a fantastic play. You love to see that growth. I mean, to watch a guy in a game learn is pretty fantastic, much less watch him go, week to week.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's phenomenal. And I will again say, Aaron Glenn, give the man his flowers. He's got some talent. I mean, now missing Hutchinson. I mean, this was a talented Minnesota team, lots of offensive weapons, a good offensive line. And Aaron Glenn played a game that, I mean, even with our offense's slow start that had me absolutely worried in the beginning of the game, our offense started slow, but the defense, I mean, they gave up the 1 run in the beginning, but other than that, the defense played an absolute fantastic game, and I couldn't be happier with what they did, especially coming off the loss of Hutchinson, the biggest piece on the defense. I think the defense played absolutely outstanding.
Yeah, absolutely agree 100%, my friend. The Minnesota Vikings preseason were like on the list of, if you were going to make a top 5 skill position groups, this team was on that list. The only reason I didn't think they were going to do real well was Sam Darnold, and he has proven to be like better than anyone gave him credit for too. Like let's call that what it is. If there was a system that gave you what he has done statistically, literally every team in the NFL would be using that system, and there would be no discussion. There isn't. Like, we can't take away from him just because we hate the team he's on. And man, do I hate the Vikings, and I hate saying anything good about them. But on a player per player basis, they have better receivers than we do. We have better running backs. Our offensive line is better. We have the better quarterback. But in all of those things, in how those guys have actually played this year, it's closer than I ever thought it was going to be. So, like, I mean, the fact that this defense wasn't like they did last year, this team gives up 50 without Aiden Hutchinson to this offense. Like they almost lost games with the backup quarterback in. That guy had to throw 8 interceptable balls a game for them to lose both of those games to us last year. So, like, because we wouldn't even catch the ones he was throwing half the time. But like, yeah, it's just like watching what AG's done this year, watching like just the personnel. Like Brad Holmes did a master class on how to take the next step as a team from very good to potentially great by putting things in place that if they lost a guy, and they lost the biggest guy that they could have lost, like there is no more important piece on this team other than Jared Goff than Aiden Hutchinson. Just straight up as far as like one player's impact on what one side of the ball can do, that's our whole defense right there. So the fact that AG came up with something this week and it kind of worked, because like that's not their worst offensive game of the year, but it wasn't as good as our. I'm told that's all that really matters. Someone in the Slack chat said the most intelligent thing anyone ever says, that the team that gets the most points is going to win the game, and that's what we saw today.
No, that's not true. All right, hey caller, thank you very much for calling in, man. We're gonna roll on to the next one. All right.
Absolutely, guys. Good to talk to you.
All right, you want me? Ciao. All right, we got that one going on. We got another one. I do want to say, and this is in the chat right now, the NFC North is the best division in the NFL. And the Lions are the best team in the best division in the NFL. Suck it, NFL. That's good stuff. Good stuff. Hey, caller, what's your name? How much have you had to drink so far?
Hi, this is Big West from the Slack chat. And after that first quarter, I almost ran out of bourbon like before halftime because I was getting really worried there. But they settled down, and I made it last to the end of the game.
Good for you. Good. I've been, I was not going to drink today. I have to fly. I don't want to pee a million times, right? The whole thing. And there was a point where I was like, okay, so I'm not going to drink beer because that's just going to be bladder, murder. I'm going to go to the booze. So I got myself some bourbon, some Gentleman Jack, some Tennessee whiskey, I guess. And I'm enjoying that a little bit smaller doses, but the same results. That game that tested my cardio. I have to say that I could feel the tightness in my chest. How did the bourbon deal with you? Did it help make the game better for you?
Yeah, I had some Woodford Reserve bourbon, and I was sipping it, but then I started to do shots of it at one point. But it slowed down once we scored 21 in the second quarter. But I was worried at first. We kept, we turned the ball over, and it wasn't looking pretty at the beginning.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. That's when I was like, I need something to drink. So what do you got? What's your big takeaway from the game?
Do you guys think we will make a move for a D end, or do you think we're happy with those 4 sacks we got by generating pressure other ways? I personally think we'll make a move, but I don't think we'll give away a first-round pick. I think we'll maybe make a deal with New England and get maybe Dietrich Wise for a 6th-round pick or something, because he's big. He's 6'5", 280. He sets an edge, and he's also a free agent next year. So that's another reason why New England might deal him since they're out of it already. What do you guys think?
I think that's exactly the reason we probably wouldn't want to make that deal. Like in terms of like, they're not going to give up future for present. It's just not a thing that they do, sadly, in this case, because I think they should get somebody. But I think if they do, it's going to be a guy we don't even know right now is available. This isn't like last year where like Washington was marching to their death as a front office and coaching staff, and everybody knew it, and they were selling everything off. Like, I don't see a team like that this year. The kind of asset that maybe we would want to take a look at bringing in. It's just not really there. Like, as much as everybody loves talking about Max Crosby and there's all kinds of reasons that the only thing stopping that would be that the Raiders absolutely should not make that trade, and the Lions would never give up enough to make that happen. Like if they can get a guy for a day 3 pick, I think they absolutely should. I do not know that they will. That's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah,
on that
I agree.
one.
Like Dietrich Wise, getting him for a 6 to me isn't giving up your future. It's just depth. That's all it is.
Just depth is the difference between last year's defense and this year's defense.
Right.
That's kind of the thing there. That's the long term. I just don't see them giving away a lot of picks because they don't have as many as they've had previously, and they wouldn't do it then, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense, but well, I hope we do something. I just
agree with you. They should
blitz all the time.
Yeah, it's fun to dream, but I think that they're going to, especially after this outing and what they saw from this defensive line, I think they're less inclined to make a big splash now. I really do. I think they believe that if you can go over a 5-0 team in the division like that is such a good matchup for you side by side. If you can beat that one, then you can beat most of the other teams you're going to play. And you don't have to worry as much about that. I think the whole idea is you're going to find a lot of rotational and depth players, but I just don't think you're going to see that big splash. I'd love one, but God, man, I want to live the life of a Kansas City Chiefs fan or a New England Patriots dynasty fan, where I can go a decade and just believe that we're going to win the Super Bowl. This is like the first year that I can walk in and say, I believe we're going to win the Super Bowl. Last year, I thought we could, but now I think we can. If that makes, it's kind of the same word, but I mean it differently with the emphasis on it. I think we can win it this year. And every year that you think you can, that you have a team that can win it, is a win, or is a year that you have another shot. If you blow it all, Crosby gets hurt. Hutch comes and gets hurt again, whatever. And that's why I'm kind of nervous about him even playing in the Super Bowl if he comes back this year. Suit him and sit him and let him, experience the moment in a uniform. But I'm just not, I'm long, right? I'm not day trading with these players. I'm not playing the Madden kind of mindset. I'm very much going long on all of this. I don't want to pay short-term capital gains. I want the long on this. I want to collect dividends on these investments. And I think we will do that. But if you like everyone, I hear people saying, this is one of the things I was going to say in a video this week. Well, our first round is basically a second round pick anyway. That means you're not picking to the third round by your logic for 2 years, right? You don't want to do that. No matter how good you are, there's a difference between Aiden Hutchinson or JMO or Gibbs and, I don't know, in your third round guys, right? Or fourth round guys. There's a complete difference in what they're doing and what they contribute to the team. And to try to pull a third and fourth round guy that's going to contribute right now and be able to develop right now, because every year we got right now guys, and then third, fourth, fifth round we get developed guys. You blow that whole thing up. I just don't see Holmes doing it. I think he's more of a long game guy, and frankly, I think Sheila Ford is the same way. I think that it's very much we're going to take the long game. It's been since 1958. 1 year or 2 years doesn't mean shit in the scheme of things. As long as, frankly, and I hate to say it this way, but as long as we're filling the stands, as long as we're selling the jerseys, and as long as we've got people pumped, we know we'll get there. We know we've got the right formula, the right plan. We just need to catch that lightning when it hits that one time. So that's where I'm thinking. Now, you have the opposite side. The Bills, and the Bills and the Lions are very closely related. You have that, which is the converse, which is the risk, right? But I don't think that Brad Holmes is a Bills tier GM. I think he's a Kansas City or a New England tier GM, and is going to bring us the gold. So there you go. Hopefully that makes sense.
I agree with you 100%. But a day 3 pick and maybe we could throw in James Houston or Allen Robinson and a bag of footballs. I mean, that isn't much risk there just to get a depth guy.
Nobody wants either of those two players.
I'm with you on that kind of a trade.
James Houston had a really good 8 games, but he is 100% without value. Like if he got cut at this point, he hasn't done anything in 2 seasons. Like someone would probably bring him in a practice squad, and that's about all you would likely see if he got cut right now. You know, like if someone will take him, sure. You know, love to get rid of the guy for literally any value at this point, but like he just hasn't really done anything, you know?
Yeah, he's a one-trick pony that can't do his trick anymore since the injury, basically.
Ooh. All right, hey, that was a terrible Winnie, but we're going to let you go, brother, and I'm going to pull in a couple more calls, all right?
All right, thanks a lot.
All right, thank you, man. Appreciate you. Thanks for calling. All right, let's pick this up, make this happen. Hey, caller, what's your name and how much have you had to drink thus far?
Hey, man, you know it's your boy Mo from the Creek, man.
Oh,
What's
man.
up?
How you doing, Mo?
Hey, man, I'm just sitting here higher than King Kong's nuts hanging off the GM building.
So I love that you call Mo, because this is one of those, like, I think you only call when we win, because we only missed you in the Tampa Bay game, didn't we?
Nah, I'm trying to make a commitment. Call every week, win or lose, baby. You're gonna hear my voice.
Well, it's one of those things now where you got to call because we only have a show when we're going to win.
You got to ride it through, man.
Yeah.
You got to ride it through.
Yeah. Oh, trust me, we have.
Lovely win today, though. Lovely win.
Oh God.
That was ain't no same old Lions. That's just NFL football, baby. It's any given Sunday, and we show it out.
Let me ask you, Mo. We watched that first 5 minutes of the game. How many extra edibles did you layer on top?
I didn't need any extra. Take a minute, to get the ball rolling.
You got to start planning by the end of the game. Like you got to say, I'm going to feel in 3 hours. I'm going to feel a certain way. I need a little help, right? So you got to load the gun early.
This team doesn't drive me to drink and drive me to be inebriated beyond control anymore. People are expecting us to win. So when we down a little bit, it's all good, baby. MCDC know what he doing.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. Now, you were at the Cowboys game. Tell me, and we talked a little bit. Tell me about the absolute mental break that Cowboys fans had after that game. Like, what was your experience walking around and around town afterwards? I just want to feel that.
Well, we're going into the game. A lot of them didn't even realize that they was going to win, so they already knew what they was working with. So it really wasn't no surprise. But the hosts of AT&T Stadium, they were all cool, and VIP section was cool. So it was real good up in Jerry's World. And to have it on his birthday, a beat down like that, you couldn't ask for anything more. So the stars aligned, but we definitely showed out.
There you go. All right. So what do you take away from this game against Minnesota? Where you look at this team, where do the Lions go from here?
I think defense rallied today, man. I think they knew what they had to do. I think everybody brought their A game. Arnold, which I was starting to call him Terry on Me Too Arnold, because he always groping the players. So he was all good today. But yeah, they rallied around, man. They kicked it up, and defense held their own. The offense kicked it up. I held my breath on the Demo injury when he was limping off the field. I was like, come on, Lord, please, no.
Have you ever heard of having a running back controversy? Because I feel like we could actually be the first team to have one. I sat there, I turned to my wife afterward, and I said, do you think running Monty so much is holding back Gibbs?
No, I think they are well aware of what they got going on. It's a tag team. And we got the freaking, whatever your favorite tag team wrestlers was back in the day. That's who we got.
Oh man, hey, Ash, you got Mo in the creek. It's your opportunity to talk to the highest man in the creek. Like he's on Mount Creek right now. What are you gonna grab him for? What are you gonna ask him? I think we lost Ash for a second there. All right.
I was about to say, Ash, I don't get no love, baby. What's going on?
Sorry, man. Sorry. No, my dogs just kind of went out of their minds for a second there, and I was a little concerned.
I'm trying to be on Ash's good side today, baby. I get the mute button. What's going on?
Give him some love, Ash. Give him some love. Give him some love.
Mo. Oh, you know I love you, man. You know this.
Thank you.
Some days I just get lost in the chat while we're doing this, you know?
Yeah, that's the one thing I love. Ash is so helpful because we get like these streaming people and everything else that show up in the chat. They want to throw, hey, here's 57 spammed ass messages, and he's super helpful helping them keep that straight, man. He's deep in there. So Mo, here we are. We're facing who we face next week. I can't even.
Oh man,
who is it?
I have to look at.
I got this. Don't worry, I got this. I'm so fast at this.
I looked it up earlier and I still can't remember. It's the Titans. We got the Titans next week.
It's the Titans. Thank you.
How's that for a trap game?
Yeah. Oh my god. And
let's make Will Levis look like a god by not getting anywhere near him with pass rush next week.
At home. That's how we want to do it.
Yeah.
This is going to be hard for me.
I was hoping that game was going to be in Nashville because me being in Atlanta, I would have drove up to that thing. But I was like, damn, they playing it in Detroit. So gotta watch it on TV. But I think, Titans. I ain't gonna. Of course, I believe we get the W, but them Titans, that's a trap game, you know.
Yeah.
You don't know which Titan team gonna show up.
Well, here's the big problem. Call of Duty launches on Friday, and we're gonna know who the players are this next Sunday. the team that has the Thursday game this week has an advantage that Arizona better hope they're playing Thursday night.
Oh, Kyler, what you said? Kyler Murray gonna be looking at the playbook. That's what you said. Shot.
Bro, I'm a KD though. Oh God, I can't wait. So, it's hilarious. Like how my life has been twisted up. I built my flight out, and I swear to God, I get to my hotel at 2 a.m. I built it out around this post-game show and this game, and then I fly home. I land at 10:30 for the midnight release of the game because I want to play all night because I took Friday off. It's a goofy week for me, man. But hey, good times.
Wow.
Good times.
Yeah, very good time. Good time to be alive.
It is. All right, Mo. As much as I love you, brother, we're gonna let you go, and we're gonna grab a couple other calls. All right.
As always, much love to you all. Much love to Lions Nation, baby. Let's go.
Love you, Mo. Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, y'all too, man.
All right, we'll see. Ciao. All right. Mo from the creek. God, I love it. All right, let's see what we got here. Hey, caller, what's your name? And it sounds like you're driving, so I hope you haven't had a whole lot to drink.
Yeah, no, haven't drank at all. First-time caller. I watch the show all the time. Wanted to call in and kind of get some insight, get some insight from you guys.
We got you, brother. We got you covered.
So I wanted to let you guys know, me and a couple best friends, we were at Dallas last week, and much like Mo in the Creek, walking out of that place, just laughing. I mean, there's people just clowning on Dallas fans all over the place. And, you know, they're saying, a lot of their fans are like, we'll see you in the playoffs. And we're just like, no, you won't. No, you won't, actually. Actually, you won't. You're not going to see us in the playoffs. I promise you.
We'll get to watch.
They were delusional still.
Oh my God. Like Ghetto Pat up there saying the Lions cheated today. Like at the beginning of the show in the chat, he was all over that. I'm like, is that really the hill you want to die on? Like there's all kinds of things that you could look at in this game, but saying the Lions cheated, I don't know about that. No,
I don't even get what he was talking about. Sometimes the play or whatever in terms of like what some idiot from the other fan base who's had maybe a few too many, daddy sodas or whatever you want to call them. Like you can see where they're coming from, but on this one, it's like, dude, your team just got beat. Deal. Like there was no ridiculous calls. There was no nothing.
Yeah. No, that's
one good team beat the other good team.
The one cheater thing that I learned this from going to a game. Sandman shared his club seats with me a couple of times, but there's a guy that sits behind us and he gets plowed. I mean, and I'm going to turn you down a little here, caller, just for a minute. He gets absolutely plowed, this guy behind us. And so he's every time there's a penalty on the other team, he just starts yelling, "Cheaters! You dirty cheaters!" It's freaking hilarious. I've just started, like, everywhere I go now, when I'm in a stadium and there's a penalty on the other team, I don't care what stadium I'm in, I just start yelling, "Cheaters! You dirty cheaters!" It's absolutely fantastic. But that guy meant it. That guy was like for real. So I don't know. So anyway, hey, you called us, caller. We're here. What do you want to talk about?
Yeah.
So I also wanted to add, the Detroit Lions chance, the Jared Goff chance. These Cowboy fans were absolutely losing their minds, and I saw a couple of them celebrating when they stopped us, like, from getting a first down. It got that bad. But anyways, so coming in this week, I'm driving down to Arkansas on business, watching this game, and just losing my ever-living mind in the first quarter. And I'm talking with a few friends, and man, I tell you, I know you guys said, you seriously doubt, much like I doubt the playoffs for the Cowboys, but that we're going to get a defensive end. But man, I just saw such a need. You basically lost a game breaker. How do you replace a game breaker with a role player or multiple role players for that matter? You just can't do it, in my opinion.
No, that's the right opinion. I don't think you can. And it's up to AG and Brad Holmes to figure out what do we need to keep this defense humming at a level to keep the points scored against lower than the points that our offense scores. It sounds silly to say it that way, but that's it. And our offense is a powerhouse right now, so it gives us a little bit of leeway on the defensive side of the ball. Our secondary has been fantastic. I mean, I don't know. I have to look really quick to see what Justin Jefferson got. If I look, 81 yards he got today. That was it. I mean, to be able to hold him down like that when, only 4 sacks and all kinds of pressures, but it didn't mean anything. No, it meant a lot. You held Justin Jefferson to 81 yards. That's a pretty good job. That secondary, it's your defensive line, and you have linebackers for a reason, and it's trying to pull all those things together to make them work.
Honestly, I thought our secondary was lights out today, with the exception of, putting Amik Robertson on Justin Jefferson up the seam. It just seemed like that was a bit of a mismatch. We could have used BB or even Kirby over there to kind of cover down a little bit, but mostly, man, their safeties are playing lights out. The corners are playing awesome. Like, this is a much improved team on the back end, and I think people need to recognize that. But I tell you, I get nervous about our pass rush a little bit. That's all.
I'm with you. Let me give you one from Detroit Fan Man. Sorry, Ash, I don't mean to step on you. I'm just rocking here. This is a crazy stat. The first consecutive 5-1 starts since the 1933 and 34. It's such a psychotic stat line. This feels like only the beginning while it's already the best of all time. That's exactly what it is, Ash. 5-1 twice in a row. Never been done in Detroit since 1933 and 34.
So that's during periods where the Lions were good.
A lot of firsts in Detroit.
Yeah. Well, that's actually one of the good things about the lull we've had as a team. It's all firsts now. It's all records.
Yep.
It feels so good, doesn't it?
We don't Las Vegas Golden Knights when their intern basically every time anything happened for their first season was like, and for the first time in Las Vegas Golden Knights history, they have scored 2 goals in 1 period.
In the Stanley Cup Finals.
Just, yeah.
It was crazy.
Magical season.
All right. Hey, brother, we're going to let you go. Drive safe. And let's go Lions, brother.
Hey, appreciate you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, man. All right. There we go. All right. 248-782-8384. We will get your calls in. We got probably about a little less than 10 minutes left on the show today. Got another driver
Make
here.
these calls count.
Hey, caller.
Any BS calls.
What's your name? How much you had to drink and where you driving to?
I am.
You there, brother? We're losing you. You're breaking up.
Hello?
There you go. How you doing?
I'm still coming down from the adrenaline rush.
It was a wild game, wasn't it?
I mean, it start to finish.
Now,
anyone else have a nervous erection the whole time?
I've never been hard limp that fast that ever before. But think about it. I mean, if we take our emotion and our love of the Lions out of it just for a minute, right? That was a fantastic football game. That game came from start to finish was a fantastic game. The officiating kind of sucked, but otherwise, that was a product that the NFL should be proud of putting on as far as what football is and what it looks like. Those teams played their balls off, man. That was back and forth and the drama and the comment. It was a hell of a game. It was a hell of a game to watch. Then you throw in fandom on one side or the other, and whew, man, your chest is tight. Your shortness of breath. You got pain going down your left arm. You're checking the other symptoms to see, is this the one? And should I keep watching or should I call 911? I don't know what I got to do right now, but whew, what a game. What an absolute game.
This game's going to highlight reels for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, I guess my baby mama made a trip to Detroit because we're still sucking in them balls. Kirby didn't get one, what Brian did.
Yeah, he did. He almost got the pick six on the one. That was crazy.
I gotta say, this win means so much to me because my favorite Minnesota MILF made a bet with me that we couldn't take it, and I just get to rub it in her face.
You know, anytime you got a Minnesota MILF, you got to send pictures. We won't post them, but it's always good to share. Be friendly. Don't.
What was that email again?
Contact at DetroitLionsPodcast.com. Don't doubt the number 5 Montgomery. Where was your soul at when Montgomery went down, bro?
I had faith. I had faith in our team. I had faith in Sonic and Knuckles. We're going to beat them one way or the other. Either we can bruise them, or we're going to beat them with our speed.
Can I tell you to keep your eyes on store.DetroitLionsPodcast.com, and you will find yourself a killer Sonic and Knuckles shirt if you're into such things coming out this week. It's hot as hell. I just have to get the site, build it, and have it on the site. But our guy Russell put together something really special.
Oh, I've got to pick one up for my son. He loves the nickname.
Mm-hmm. It's perfect for the kids.
Yeah, it looks great.
Oh man! All right, so give me your last thoughts because we're getting close to calling this a show, and you're going to be one of the last callers. So the pressure's on. This is your chance. Sum it up for us. How do we feel after the 6th game of the season where we ball dragged? We'll call it a ball drag. The Minnesota Vikings.
The Detroit Lions are the best team in the NFL, and they can take down anyone, any week.
There it is. That's it. Yep. Well done. Woo! We got a closer here.
Stepped up.
Brother, thank you for the call. Appreciate you, man.
All right, thank you. Bye.
All right, have a good one. All right, Ash. Let's get to it. I think we can use that as our closer. What's your thoughts on the game, the Lions, and where do we go from here?
31-29, brother. 31-29. This week, I suspect, is just literally all about not falling into the trap that this game is. Because the Titans, they're not very good, but they're still an NFL team, and you gotta show the proper respect every week. You know what I mean? Like it is what it is. And now the Lions are that team that this team is going to gear up for. You know what I mean? Because they haven't been to Super Bowls. Like they don't necessarily get that level of respect still for some reason from around the league. So this is one where they got to come in. They got to put their necks on their feet on their necks, basically. You know what I mean? Like just they got to go in. They got to tear this one up. It's a game that the team should win 50-10 without too much difficulty. You know, like this is a much worse team than the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah. So you're looking at, huge win over division team coming in against the Titans, who just aren't a good team, right? We're a professional football team. I think the Lions are going to come in and they're going to handle business. They're going to do what they do. I'm really excited. When you take a road game away from a division rival, that's our first division game of the year, and it was a road game and we took it. That's a big one. That's a big one, because usually if you baseline it, you say we're going to split. We're going to lose the ones on the road. We're going to win the one at home, and now we've got one in the bag. And then the thing is, now we get two in the bag, right? You just keep going, keep filling that sack until Super Bowl when you can let it all out.
Well, yeah, and realistically, like that's the difference in this division between like one of these teams is going to win 8 games and one of these teams is going to win 13 games, and the difference between those two teams is probably going to come down to their division record.
Yeah,
that's the division we're in this year. Like that's it. I would be shocked if any team in this division didn't. Actually, at this point, with the records everyone has put up so far, I'd be surprised if everybody didn't get to 9. Like someone would have to fall off a lot from the performance that they've put up so far this year to only be that good. So like, and it's literally because we're about to start eating ourselves.
I don't even know if it's
like that's where
I don't even know if it's possible, and I'm not doing the math on it right now because I've had a couple drinks and I'm starting to get ready to get one foot out the door here.
There's 6.
But
you play 6 division games, so theoretically everybody could win 11 if they won all their games.
But no, could the entire division make the playoffs, and then we wind up playing our division game through the playoffs to make our way to the Super Bowl? Is that how? No, you can't, because you can't.
That is theoretically possible, I guess. Like yeah, because like I said, everyone could win 11 games. If that happens, that's your wild card.
Yeah. Isn't that bananas? Like, so, like everyone would have games all the way to the top, or division games all the way, turtles all the way down, right? Michelle, you were here and you didn't give us our hymns player. Go ahead, sorry.
No, we need that hymns player.
I know. Tim, I see you there. And FTP. I'm with you with that FTP, brother. Get Michelle in here with the hymns player of the game. We need it before we go. If not, we're gonna have to call it. That would be bananas to see that kind of a thing. But by the same token, for something like that to have never happened before, and to watch the Lions just conquer their way up that hill, that would be absolutely magical. Because when you get to the Super Bowl, you know how they tell the stories, right? And they get into how and all this, to talk about how they conquered the division and then had to conquer it again to get through the playoffs, to get to, and in a weird way, as troubling as it would be, that's what you build your team for, is those division games. You're not really building your team to play against the Giants, right? I mean, you might see, or the Cowboys or the Eagles. You're playing for those division. You're building for those division games, because that's 6 games. It's 6 wins if you can take those, right? I mean, those are the big games. Boy, oh boy, that would be crazy. All right. We've got the hymns players of the game, Goff, and is that Branch?
Bates. It's Bates.
Oh, Bates. Oh, okay.
Pistis.
Besties. That's what I was reading, is besties. We're besties though, Michelle. All right, Michelle gives out the hymns rock hard players of the games, Jared Goff and Jake Master Bates. Makes sense. Makes absolute sense. Good picks there, Michelle. Thank you for that. We've got our players. We've got our show. We're going to lock it up and rock it up. Thank you all for joining us. This was a great win, and we will do a post-game show again next week. What does that mean, Ash, when we do these?
We always win.
Always win. There you go. All right, we got you guys locked up, locked in, and gals locked up, locked in, ready to go. Thank you. Don't forget us on Patreon, patreon.com/Detroit Lions podcast, $5 a month minimum. We'll get you access to the Slack chat, which is the most intelligent Lions Slack or Lions chat on the internet. You might run into Gray. People asking about where's Gray. Gray's hiding in the Slack. Come on in, have some fun, talk some good Lions stuff, some smart people. Most intelligent Lions chat on the internet. Also follow us on Twitter at DET Lions Podcast, DET Lions Podcast. Ignore all the calls to follow Mr. Tweetson. Do not follow him. You will actively be blocked if you follow Mr. Tweetson. He doesn't even, well, he won't be because he doesn't even check the account. He doesn't care. He's not even there. So don't even think about it.
We are literally more than a month away from me logging into that account.
At DET Lions Podcast, hit that one up. We'll be there. You'll see Mr. Tweetson pants free one day. One day. Give us a call via Skype, Detroit Lions Podcast. All one word, Detroit Lions
Once we get that OnlyFans up.
You're trying so hard. Or call us on the Lions line at 248-782-8384. 248-RUB. You fug. That's the best kind. And be sure to go to DetroitLionsPodcast.com. Subscribe to the podcast because Ash has something that he absolutely wants to do.
I would like to show up in your box automatically.
In every room that he walks into. Thank you for tuning in. We're going to see you next time on the Detroit Lions Podcast. Remember, no pants, no toasters, no hot tubs, no problems, because we love you. We love the Detroit Lions, and we're your Detroit Lions and Reddit connection. Catch you next week.